What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger. We are back at you again today with another MLB 16 The Show Diamond Dynasty episode of Risers and Fallers. It's our weekly roster upgrade predictions video. That's right, we got roster upgrades coming up this Friday, so you guys got a couple days to go work that marketplace, find some cards and some players that might get upgrades based on their performance. We're going to start out with the Minnesota Twins' fantastic young player, Mr. Max Kepler. He's been on a tear lately. Now, over the season, he has a .259 average, 15 home runs, and 46 runs batted in. But over his last 15, he's got 7 home runs, 13 runs batted in, and batting .346. You probably saw him on SportsCenter this week because he did have a 3-home run game. He followed that up yesterday with another home run. Over the last 7, he's also hitting .391. Very impressive so far. The old man, Mike Napoli, is getting it done right now for the Cleveland Indians. On the season, not very impressive, .249 average, 26 home runs, which leads the Indians, and 76 runs batted in. Since the All-Star break, he's number 8 in runs batted in with 15, and he's tied for first place with Chris Davis and Jed Jerko with home runs, and that's 8 since All-Star break. 4 home runs and a .320 average over his last 7 games. He's been a big-time run producer, something I don't really think that the Indians expected, but you know what? They're playing good baseball, and he's a big reason why they are in first place right now. Though the Tigers are right behind them, they better watch out. Of course, we're going to focus on a Colorado Rocky this week. Hey, guys, I know it's my team. I know I'm a little bit biased, but they're playing good baseball. And so is the ace, Jon Gray. He's been very impressive this season. Got off to somewhat of a rough start, but he's 8-4, 3.77 ERA. Over his last 3 starts, he's been absolutely ridiculous, including a win last night against the Dodgers. He's 3-0 in his last 3 starts with a 0.69 ERA. He's figured out how to pitch in Coors, too. I think that's a really impressive thing. 202 batting average against 25 strikeouts. He got one upgrade a couple weeks ago. I think he might get one more. Tyler Anderson and Carlos Esteves, 2 other Rockies pitchers that could see upgrades this week. Zach Davies, another young pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, 9-4 on the season, 3.57 ERA, but he's also been pitching lately, very well lately. He almost had a no-hitter earlier in the season, and I thought that might get him an upgrade, but he's been, going pretty well since then. He hasn't really dropped off. It wasn't just a one good performance. Over the last 3 games, his last 3 starts, he's 3-0 with a 1.7 ERA, and batting average against for Zach Davies is a 2.09, so maybe we'll see him get up to a silver card. I think he's deserving. And we're going to talk about another Brewer to finish up this week's video as far as featured players, and that's Hernan Perez, 25-year-old, .296 average on the season, 8 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Since the All-Star break, he's number 4 in baseball with 24 hits, and he has a .387 average since the All-Star break. Over his last 7, he's been hitting for some power too and driving in some runs. He has 3 home runs over his last 7 games, 7 runs batted in, and a .458 average. He's been stepping it up. The Brewers, even though they lost Jonathan Lucroy, and they've had all the trade rumors previous to the trade deadline, Brewers have been playing pretty solid baseball. Always good to see these young guys kind of step it up towards the end of the season when they're not really playing for nothing. They're trying to earn themselves a spot next year, and I think Hernan Perez could be one of them. A couple other big names that I didn't mention. Normally I feature, a couple individual players. I don't like to feature the same players, but we got to give props to Albert Pujols. We talked about him last week. 21 runs batted in since the All-Star break, and a .303 average. That's the best in the league. Miguel Cabrera hasn't really been hitting home runs, hasn't really been driving runs home, but he has 26 hits since the All-Star break. That's number 3 in baseball with a .351 average. Maybe Miggy will get some contact boosts. Carlos Gonzalez, since the All-Star break, 18 runs batted in. That's number 2, right behind Pujols. He has a .333 average since the All-Star break. And Mookie Betts was named AL Player of the Month, so maybe we'll see him get an upgrade. I know that's one that a lot of people have hit me up in the comments about, is Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back with This Week in Baseball tomorrow. Peace!